Rock and metal invasion. Rock and metal invasion. Rock and metal invasion. Rock and metal invasion.
Hi, welcome to Rock and Metal Invasion. My name is Steve. Coming up on the show today, I'm looking at Should Have Been on the Album, and a YouTube channel called Should Have Been on the Album is hosted by Drew, and he is my very special guest, and he's joining me to talk about his channel and maybe some songs that he has talked about on his channel. How you going, Drew?
Hey Steve, how's it going, mate? Look, across the ditch as it is for us. So you in New Zealand, I'm here in Australia. So it's great to be on the channel. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. And I thought, oh, he's Australian. Do I really want to have him on my channel? But I thought, no, it's okay. No,
you guys are all right. You guys are all right.
Yeah, you guys are right too. So, so Drew's got this great channel. If you haven't already checked it out, it's on YouTube. Should have been on the album. There we go. That's his. That's his title there. So, and it's a little bit similar, I suppose. I did a show called Shouldn't Have Been on the Album, and it's a little bit like that, except it's the opposite. Or he's asking the question. So he's not necessarily always saying it should have been on the album, but he's asking, should have been on the album, maybe, yes or no. So, and of course, it's a lot of B-sides or Japanese bonus tracks, CD bonus tracks, that sort of thing.
Yep. Yeah. So
is that pretty much right, Drew?
Yeah, I reckon so. And sometimes it's studio cuts, like when they release like a 40th anniversary, and it's come as a bonus track that no one really knew was in the vault. And you sort of look back and go, well, in different time, different place, could it have been in there? Definitely B-sides, for those people who don't know what a B-side is, because we live in a digital generation now, so it's very, very different. It's the album, it's the cuts that they made or they demoed or stuff like that were obviously in the mix at one point for, including on the albums, but for one reason or another just didn't make it. Yeah. And so I've been trying to collate them and discover them as we go. And certainly, people who have watched the channel offer stuff to me as well. We often do, like a viewer request, and it's like, I didn't know that this band existed even. And we discover more and more. So it's a great journey to be on. But I've always felt that, particularly the first B-side that really hit with me was Warrant's Thin Disguise, which was on the flip side of Cherry Pie. That song should have been on Cherry Pie, without a doubt. It's a killer track, and
it should have been a single, right? It should have actually been a single. It's like such a great song, yeah.
Without a doubt, it's got everything that Warrant was known for, and it's just a killer song. And how it never made the album was always beyond me. And it's what a great B-side. So that sort of kickstarted this whole journey, and it's great fun to be doing it. You bring to an audience going, hey, did you know that this song even exists?
Yeah. And there's something kind of cool about discovering a song that maybe other people don't know about. That's like, everyone's got the album, or it's a really popular album, but there's this extra sort of almost a secret track that you didn't know about. And when it's good, it's like, wow, and this is such a good song too. So I'm so pleased I discovered it. So
yeah. And look, let's be honest. Some of the songs are B-sides for a reason.
Yeah, there's that as well, right? Yeah, exactly. Which is where you come in, Drew. That's where you come in to kind of, let us know. And also what you do sometimes if you decide, well, it should have been on the album, like what songs not, then so maybe you got to take a song off.
Yeah, I try and, I kind of figure, I know, when CDs came out, we could have more than 10 tracks. Yeah. And certainly in the digital era, we can put on as many songs on an album as we like. But so I sort of look at the original track listing and go, okay, well, here's the 10 that they chose, or here's the 12 that they chose, and sort of try and stick with that. And you could say, oh, let's just whack it on the end, but I kind of try and keep to the purity of the track listing and go, okay, this is what was released. This is what everybody knows. So what would go if I wanted to put the B-side in?
Yeah. And was Warrant was that your first video, was it?
That was the first video. I look back on it now, and I guess the format that I came up with through just trial and error really didn't sort of solidify till like episode 10, 15 thereabouts. And the first one, I think when we all start a YouTube channel, we go, everyone's going to watch this video, and no, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
Like for yourself, you've been doing this for 3 years, and it's a journey. It's a bit of a slog at sometimes, but at the end of the day, you want it to just share your passion. And so I look back at that first video and go, you know what? I'm sharing my passion. I'm sharing what I love. There's a lot of things I would do differently. But I've learned that along the way, and I'll certainly return to Warrant one day because there's some other great B-sides that I would love to have a look at from them as well.
Yeah, awesome. And so your ideas, I think you said you sometimes people suggest ideas for you as well, so they can do that, and it might be one that you don't know about or one that you're thinking about doing. Yeah,
absolutely. Often like I know there's a band called Tora Tora that I have only just heard of on the periphery. Someone mentioned them, so I'll probably have a look at them in the future. One that I did do was a band called Till Tuesday, sort of like a pop group. So while I'm obviously my passion is hard rock, hair metal. That's what I love. I'm willing to take a bit of a sidestep. Tiffany, for example, she's had this slew of B-sides that are actually really quite good, but just didn't fit the tone of what the record company wanted her to release. And I guess that's the other thing, is like the record company have got their fingers in the release as well, going, well, this is going to be popular, but they've got other stuff. So yeah, I do. If I get suggestions from the viewers, I'll definitely follow them up, because that's part of the backwards and forwards conversation. I didn't know about Till Tuesday, never heard of them. Really was not on the radar for me whatsoever. But looking at them, there's this great story, there's great songs, great singles, and you sort of bring these bands into more of a world, and let people know. And like you'd be aware of, even bands that you and I know of, say Takedo, for example, may not be in Australia, New Zealand huge, but we go, well, hang on, we know about them, and hey, there's a B-side that no one knew about, so there's all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's interesting too, you mentioned Tiffany, because I was like, what is Drew doing here? Tiffany, really? I think we're alone now. I mean, it's a popular song back in the 80s, but then I thought I'll still watch the episode, and watched it, and it's like, actually, No Rules, the B-side. It's a bit of it's some sort of semi-hard rock there. Rock song. It's a rock song.
Yeah, it's a rock song, and she actually nails the vocal. Like, you're right. Like we think that could have been so, like we think that she's this pop, tart, I guess they used to call them back in the day. This pop singer that, was appealing to a particular demographic, did the malls and the shopping centers and all that kind of stuff. But then she rips out this song called No Rules, and it's like, there's the other side of Tiffany that could have been a Pat Benatar. Yeah, easily, because she had the vocal chops if they had decided to go down that era, that way. So it's really interesting to go back, because you get a sense of what direction they could have gone as an artist as well. Tiffany as a rock star, that's a totally different story to what that we've got. So I agree. No Rules was a big find, and it's like, oh my God, she can sing. She can sing.
Yeah. So even if you think quite a bit about music and a lot of these B-sides, you might find some surprise ones on there. Now, one I wanted to talk about, and I think it's your most popular video, Van Halen. So that's got like 25,000 views or something like that.
Yeah, it blew up. Yeah, it blew up overnight, and I didn't expect it to. The song's Crossing Over. Yeah. It was a B-side from the Balance era. It's an unusual B-side because it was half recorded in the early 80s, if I remember rightly. I mean, it's been a while since I looked at the video. In the early 80s, but then overdubbed during the Balance, and it was brought out for the Japanese edition of Balance. And it's a really intense song. There is so much going on in that song. There's so much heart. And it's very different from a lot of other stuff in their catalog, yet it is uniquely Van Halen. And you've got you've got Hagar's vocals at the front, but also Eddie's vocals are in there, if I remember rightly as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. It's a great song.
Oh, it's a great song, and it's one that I didn't know, I didn't anticipate there to be so many Van Halen fans that would jump onto this video. And it was like, and I made one little mistake. I did make a mistake in the video. I had to cut it. I had to do a quick dodgy YouTube edit to cut it out. I think I said one of the album names was I said Children and Women First when it's Women and Children First. I got a bit of a caning for that. I'm like, hey, look, I'm from down under. We flip things around all the time, you know.
Yeah, it's all the same. It's all the same. Yeah.
So and that's where I realized, you know, people are watching this and are really hungry for particularly their favorite bands for the stuff that they didn't know. So it was a huge jump, you know, and surprised the hell out of me. It really did. But it also made me sort of step up and go, okay, I need to make sure that everything I say and everything that I research is spot on. You know,
because it's when you got that many people watching, it's sort of like, oh, okay, it's not just a few hundred of they'll whatever, you know, they're not going to worry about it. But you're going to end up getting messages every day. That's not the name of the album. That's it.
That's it. And you know, you sort of learn to go, oh, look, I screwed up. You know, everyone makes mistakes. You know, no one's perfect. You know, so
no, that's right. Yeah, but it was great because, believe it or not, I don't think I knew about that song. I'm pretty sure I found out about that song from your video. So, and I think maybe that might have some reason with the for the popularity of it, because actually I don't think it was that publicized or well known.
And I think because it was on the Japanese release and it was tucked away. At the back, and I think it was an afterthought. Like, from what I believe, they'd like finished the album, and then, you know, Japanese bonus tracks were a big thing, particularly with CDs. And they're like, "Well, do you have anything else?" And we're like, and then that's where crossing over was suggested. And I think Eddie wrote the song at the passing of his friend, and it was very personal to him. But the band managed to convince him to let the world hear it. And I think it's such a powerful statement from the band. Very, very, very personal. And it's definitely one of my favorite B-sides of all the ones that I've looked into.
Yeah, I actually managed to get it it's actually on a B-side of what was it? Can't Stop Loving You, 7-inch single. So I managed I managed to get it on that, but I've got the box set now, which is great.
Oh,
yeah. So it's got the studio rarities and it's got that song on it. But the thing with Van Halen is too, they don't have a lot of studio rarities. They don't have a lot of B-sides or anything like that. So it's
no. They like the stuff that they brought out was just top tier. So and I'm sure there's stuff in the vaults. There'll be something in the vaults that no one knows about, or it's in Eddie's private collection. And who knows, we may get it one day. But you know, until then, we just wait in hopeful expectation.
Yeah, because I mean, just listening to Eddie play the guitar is enough for me, really, to be honest with you. You know,
without a doubt.
Yeah. One band though that actually the opposite of Van Halen, they do actually have quite a lot of B-sides, and that's Bon Jovi. So there were quite a lot of maybe potential songs that should have been on the album, because they demo a lot of songs, they release a lot of, you know, non-album songs. But you did Starting All Over Again.
Yeah, look, I could have chosen Edge of a Broken Heart. That was the obvious one to go with. But I kind of didn't want to. I sort of wanted to just go with something else. And Starting All Over Again, it's interesting. In Australia, when Keep the Faith came out, that was the last song on Keep the Faith. When it got released, we got 2 extra tracks. I think one was Save a Prayer, and the other one was Starting All Over Again. And I always thought Starting All Over Again was a cracker of a song. Yet, if you try and buy the album now, it's not there. It's just not there. And I was like, where's it gone? Why isn't it part of the album? It's a great way to finish the album, because it's a statement from Bon Jovi going, you know, it feels like we're getting the band back together and we're starting all over again, because we've got to remember that Keep the Faith was after quite a hiatus from the band. New Jersey came out, they went on tour, and then they're just like, no, we're going to take a break. And we didn't know. We didn't know if Bon Jovi was going to do another album. But like you said, Steve, So many B-sides. One that I would love to look at is a song called Stay.
Oh yeah.
It's a beautiful ballad. Oh, I'm just trying to think what era. Is it Crush? I think by memory. And it's a song that should have been on the album. That one I'll definitely go back and redo. And I'll probably do Edge of a Broken Heart because, I mean,
That's a popular one, eh?
Oh, it should have been on Slippery When Wet, even though it sounds really different from the rest of the album. And I think maybe that's why it didn't make it, because sonically it's not the same. So yeah, I think also it was a test track, and I don't know where I read this. I could be completely wrong. My mind is full of useless information all the time. But I think it was a test track with them and Desmond Child to see if they could actually write together.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So I don't know if that's true, but obviously, it's one that should have been on the album. And if it was produced the same as the other tracks on Slippery, well then definitely. But hell, which song do you get rid of?
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing the episode. That's going to be a great debate. But I'll put in right now Social Disease. But as my
yes,
as my,
it's a little on the nose these days.
That one. Yeah, but But I actually, I like Borderline. That was another B-side from Slippery. I think it's a pretty good song.
Yeah, it's a fantastic song.
It's interesting too because, because being in New Zealand, we also got when Keep the Faith came out, we also got those 2 extra songs as well.
You did.
You did. So I was like, it was quite nice. But I probably prefer Save a Prayer, to be honest with you. But
interesting.
I like that one. But yeah, they do have a habit of putting out some good B-sides. So
yeah. And they've got the massive B-side collection as well. What is it? Is it 100 million fans?
Yeah, they have, yeah.
And that does cover a lot of stuff. But interestingly, the version of Starting All Over Again that's on that box set isn't the one that was on the album. It's a different take. So who knows?
Yeah,
so much stuff.
Yeah, they have got a lot. Another band you talked about. I don't know if you went to. They were just in Australia recently. Winger, you didn't go and see them at all, did you?
No, I didn't get to see Winger. No, not at all. That was.
They were kind of new to you anyway at the time when you were checking them out.
Totally new to me. So that was a viewer request, and I thought I didn't know much about them, and I think I actually admit that in the video. It's like I'm coming into this as a newbie.
Yeah. Higher and Higher was the song.
Yeah, and it's a great song. It's a cracker of a song. And I think what I think sets Winger apart is there is an added level of musicianship in what they do. It's not just stock standard 4 chords and the truth. There's a lot of other stuff going on. Slightly different arrangements, different approaches to coming in and out of the chorus or the pre-chorus or the verses. Lyrically, it's very typical, hard rock fare. But the musicianship that's behind it, and certainly Winger is bringing his experience, particularly with Alice Cooper, to the game in this as well.
Yeah.
So to listen to them and to discover them was very, very exciting as well. And their second album is a great one as well. And I think it's got some B-sides as well to definitely explore. But again, this is what I love about doing the album. Doing the channel is that I hadn't heard much of Winger at all. Again, just on the periphery. And so to deep dive into them for, a month or so and really get your head around them it's great fun. It's really cool fun.
Yeah. And it's interesting that I don't think they've ever toured Australia, and so now they've just done well. Maybe they have, but they don't. It's not a place that they've toured very much anyway.
No, I think it's the first and only time. I think it's been the last
I think it is. Yeah, and I'm a little bit annoyed they didn't. Usually if they go to Australia, they'll add New Zealand in. But,
yes, that's true. That's true.
And they had announced a tour I think maybe not last year, a couple of years ago. It was Australia and New Zealand, and then they cancelled for whatever reason. And but then this time they've missed out on New Zealand. So anyway, that's just my little story.
I completely agree. I think, and it's interesting where they choose to tour, different bands. Like sometimes in Australia, they'll bring Perth and do Brisbane as well, but they'll skip Adelaide, for example.
Right.
And you never quite know where they're going to come. I'm lucky I live in Melbourne. So generally bands will come down and and tour in Melbourne. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah. It's got the population, eh? Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's it. But you know
Yeah.
what? If the hunger is there and you can get over, just
Mm.
do it. You know,
Yeah.
you're not going to come back down this way much. And really, New Zealand, you guys are just an hour's flight
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. And the
Up on the
fans really appreciate it when bands go out the way a little bit just to do that,
Yeah, absolutely.
But I get it. One
Yeah.
more band, well, a couple more bands maybe we'll just talk about that kind of fit the genre I talk about on my show, and
Yeah.
I think it's quite good examples of what you've done on your channel is Poison, and so you talked about a song called the Hangman.
Yeah, got to face the Hangman.
Yeah, Face the Hangman. Yeah.
So there were two B-sides that came out. So there's Got to Face the Hangman and Living for the Minute, which is the other one. And it's funny, Face the Hangman has got lost a little bit. I know when they did like the anniversary edition of Open Up and Say they put on Living for the Minute, but they didn't put on Face the Hangman. I actually think Face the Hangman is probably the stronger of the two. It's definitely more melodic. It feels more like that era of Open Up and Say Look, I love Poison. I know people bag on them. I know. But they were kind of like my gateway band into the whole genre. And you can't deny them the melodicness of their songs, the catchiness of their songs, and they're just here for a good time. I mean, it's nothing but a good time.
Yeah, that's right.
I think the other thing that really appealed to me was knowing Bret Michaels and his battle with type 1 diabetes. Right? So he has to take insulin, I think it's 4 or 5 times a day. And when it came out, the whole thing back then, he's using needles.
Yeah, true.
He's kind of got to, because otherwise he's going to die. And so when you see, I think it's in, it's Something to Believe In. I think you see him collapse on stage, and they have to
yeah.
It's literally because he's his blood sugar levels have crashed, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to just give him some insulin. And then what he would do is he would get the insulin, he'd be up, and he'd be straight back out on stage. And it's like that sort of passion for his audience, for his fans, for his music. That's the sort of thing that I think, people often forget. They go, they're just another hairband. No. They are doing this because they love it. And I think that's something that's often missed. So, so sorry to go back. Gotta Face the Hangman is a great song. There is another B-side I want to get into from their Native Tongue era. And it's called Whip Comes Down. And that is
okay.
Oh yeah. So
another one, yeah.
No, so it's definitely one I want to get on. I think it was on the flip side of Stand.
Yep.
It didn't make the album, didn't make the cut. And it's a really good song, and it's one that not many people have heard of. So I definitely want to get into that. But again, great B-sides. There are a couple of crappy ones. I got to admit, their cover of Jim Croce's Don't Mess Around with Jim from way back from their first album. It is not good. It's not good. No,
I'm a big fan of Poison doing covers like Your Mama Don't Dance. I can't do that one.
Sexy Back. Like, what are you doing, guys? Like,
they've actually done a whole covers album, haven't
yes.
they?
Yeah, they did. And I think I mentioned this on my April Fool's Day video that they released Sexy. They did a cover version of Justin Timberlake's Sexy Back and put it on a Walmart bonus track. And it's like, I don't think it's great. They're clearly having a great time. Yeah. But, I'll leave it up to the audience.
Yeah.
That one I can give or take.
Yeah. I think Up and Say I thought it was a big improvement from their first album. I thought the guitar tone from CC, really good guitar tone on that album, I thought.
Yeah. It was like, and look, money comes down to it, having the money behind it.
Yeah, that's true. I think there was a real low budget, their first album, a real low budget.
Yeah, something like 20 grand,
20 grand. It sounds like it, but
it does. But that's where it began. My personal favorite is Flesh and Blood. That album is just there is so much going on in that album
Mm,
that they've managed to pull together. Great guitar tones, great use of like different arrangements, and the songs are really, really strong.
mm,
Um, so yeah, that particular album, I will play front to back without skipping a
yeah.
song. So
Yeah, it's interesting on that album. Like a lot of bands, they really changed their image. You know, like the makeup's pretty much gone. The the clothing's toned down a little bit.
yeah, and I think it was their reach for maturity, to be honest,
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
accepted as a legitimate playing band,
yeah,
and
yeah,
fair enough, fair
yeah,
enough. And then obviously the image completely changed when Native Tongue, when CC left,
yeah. Oh, that's
and
right. Yeah,
Richie Kotzen stepped
yeah.
in, and
Mm,
total change, total
mm,
change.
mm. Another band I wouldn't mind talking about, Dokken. So, what I find interesting about this, you know, should have been on the album song. It's almost like the title track. So, Back for the Attack, which is
Yeah,
the weird
this
one,
is
eh?
this is a curious one, and why it wasn't included either on their third album or indeed the album that was called Back for the Attack is
Mm,
beyond me. It was a hit.
mm,
This song was a hit. This
mm.
song was, and it's a great song, and
Yeah.
yet for some reason I don't know what the prevailing wisdom was. It was like, no, we're not going to include it. We're going to call the album Back for the Attack, but we're not going to
Mm.
put it on.
That's what's
Previous
weird about it, eh? Because they used that title, they used that, and I think you said on your channel that they actually recorded it during for the previous album, but
Yeah, yeah.
then it didn't make that album, and they were like, well, we'll use the title. That's a good title for an album, but we're not going to put the song on there.
That's it. That's it.
Mm,
And look, Dokken was another group that I hadn't really stepped into. I actually had 5 of their albums. I bought one of those box sets,
Yeah,
that had the 5 albums in there, for $20. And you go,
yeah,
well, if I'm going to check out a band, I'm going to check them out.
yeah,
But I hadn't listened really deep dived into them. So to do that was really cool. And look, it's a great song. And look, they're not the only band who name albums after songs that aren't released.
yeah.
Rat, Reach for the Sky, that's their
That's
4th
right.
album.
That's
And yet
true.
they've got the song was recorded for their first album.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right. Yeah,
so it's like, okay, well, we've got an idea. What do we need? Oh, let's just call it after this song.
yeah,
Oh, but we're not going to include the song. It doesn't matter,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a great album title. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it is. It
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yeah, great album title. We don't need the song on there.
yeah,
Let's just go with that.
yeah. Well, that
But
leads
yeah,
in quite nicely then to yeah. So, just before we finish up, so you've just your latest episode is Rat and
yeah,
Rich Scott. Yeah,
yeah. Reach for the Sky. It's a great song. It reminds me a lot of Striper. I'm a huge Striper fan. I've got all of their stuff, and it reminds me really early days. Just the rhythm, the twin guitar attack.
mm,
Um, the riffing of it is very, very Striper's first EP. You can really hear that. And look, as I said in the video, it's not surprising because they actually played at Gazzari's together. They were 2 of the house bands.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
it doesn't surprise me there's a little bit of, cross-pollination between the 2 bands. And they're still, I know Stephen Percy is still good friends with Michael Sweet. So that's on record. So,
mm,
but yeah, Reach for the Sky is a great track. I think it
mm,
should have been on the album. Just spoiler alert, but go check out the video anyway.
yeah,
And it's always great to hear a song that no one knew was out there.
mm,
Um,
mm,
and for it to be brought out, particularly for the 40th anniversary of Out of the Cellar,
mm,
it's like, it's great to hear. It's the classic lineup. It's the classic Beau Hill production on it as well. And it feels like it's just like a warm hug from 1983, 84. It's like, here we are. This
yeah.
is
That's
the
right.
stuff we want to get back into.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Really.
it's good. Cool. So I'll leave a link in the description so that if people want to check out your channel and they can do that. What so you've hinted at a few possible things coming up, but anything you can let us know about that might be coming up on your channel?
Yes, so I've shot the footage for my next video, and we're doing moving pictures. So, Australian band, massive song was "What About Me." So it's one that I discovered that on their first single there was a song called "Saturday Love," and I always find the story of moving pictures really interesting because two reasons. One, they had the mass, like this song, What About Me was huge, and yet they sort of just couldn't quite back it up. And also Gary Frost, who was the keyboard player for Moving Pictures, went on to form 1927, which is another huge Aussie band as well. So that's coming up. I am going to do a Def Leppard video. I've been requested to do Tear It Down, which even though it appeared on was it on Adrenalize?
Yeah.
It was recorded for Hysteria. The Hysteria version is superior.
It is. Yeah.
And you sort of look and go, oh, how did you not include that? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to look at Bonfire, German hair metal band. And they're still releasing stuff today, but I want to look at their version of Sword and Stone, which was written by Paul Stanley from Kiss and Bruce Kulick as well. Should have been on the Kiss album, should have been on Crazy Nights. But I want to look at the Bonfire one. So that came out on the Shocker soundtrack. And also there's a band, Vitage, which is sort of more heavy metal. And there's a song called Jesus Saves, the version and it came out on Streets. And I bought their deluxe edition of Streets, which has all the narration in between. And the version that's on the deluxe version of Jesus Saves is completely different to the version that came out on the official release. Two versions of the same song, but completely different. And I want to do a comparison, go, which one do you think should have been on the album?
Ah, right. That's an interesting idea. So that's the new one. Sort of like it's the same song, but what version should have been on the album?
Yeah.
Cool
and
idea.
like they are totally different versions. And it's like when I was listening to it, I was waiting for the riff from the one that I know to come in, and it starts off with a piano. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So
yeah.
So that's what's coming up, and I've got a few others as well. Nelson, I'm going to have a look at. There's a couple of B-sides I discovered from them, and any viewer requests that pop up, I'm going to go back and have a look at those as well. So there's definitely stuff in the works. You're not ever going to run out of possible ideas. There's quite a bit out there. Yeah.
That's
it. And unfortunately, you do have to be careful with some bands because of copyright and all that stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I did get a takedown notice for one of my videos, which you can't find online anymore. And I shall not name this particular Canadian artist with initials BA because, but yeah, apparently his record company doesn't like stuff out there. So didn't know this. So yeah, I have to be careful from time to time because even though I'm sort of doing this for educational purposes, different.
Yeah. Okay.
And I will come back and do Roxas as well. Roxas is another band with another stack of great B-sides and non-album tracks. I'm going to come back and do them as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's good to do some Aussie bands, because
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'd love to know some New Zealand bands like with apologies. New Zealand bands that we have not co-opted, like Split Ends. We kind of call Split Ends our own in a weird way, but they're clearly New Zealand. But I would love to shoot them my way if there's particularly hard rock hair metal bands that just didn't.
Well, I mean, there's a few bands obviously but they kind of were biggish in New Zealand, but then that's kind of it, But didn't necessarily cross over to Australia. A lot of bands from New Zealand too. They'll get big here, and then they'll go over to Australia and try and sort of go to that next level.
Yeah,
and they either sink or swim sort of thing. But then again too, some will leave New Zealand and go to America and try and break it over there. But it's pretty tough. I mean, obviously Shihad, very popular band here. You probably know them.
Yes, I've heard of them. Yep.
Yeah. They kind of did that. They tried to make it over in the States, and they just played their last concert just last month. They was finishing up sort of thing. But yeah, they're really big here in New Zealand, but sort of outside New Zealand, not so much. Yeah.
Yeah, John Stevens came from New Zealand, and he has an early '80s output that he did in America. And it's totally different to Noiseworks. It's completely different to Noiseworks. And that's another band I'll come back to and do B-sides as well. Noiseworks. An amazing band. Should have been world conquerors, really. And definitely had the chops for it. Unfortunately, their third album, Love versus Money, just too many too many bean counters trying to make decisions for the band, trying to get them to be something that they weren't. But there's some great B-sides from that era that I definitely want to check out and share with as well.
Yeah, I saw John Stevens actually played a concert not far from where I live quite recently at a big venue. So he's it was a whole lot of different bands as well. It was like in a big park area and stuff like that. But he's still got, he's got some fans, Yeah.
Yeah, and he's still got the chops as well. He can
I'm
still
sure.
sing
Yeah.
that voice.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite is R.I.P. Millie, like from Noiseworks. Just that song from Love versus Money. Just hits the heart every time. It's so good.
Yeah, and didn't he join INXS for a bit, John Stevens?
Yeah, he was. He was the lead singer for INXS for a little bit, and then he also did Jesus Christ Superstar. He played Judas in JC Superstar, which was the reason he left Noiseworks. To pursue that. So yeah, look, he's done a lot. He's done a lot.
Yeah. All right, hey, great chatting, Drew. Like I said, if you haven't checked out his channel, make sure you do that, because actually not only does he talk about the songs that should have been on the album, he does a really cool little history of the band as well prior to actually talking about the song. So you get like a little bit of a bio about the band as well, which I always find interesting. So go check out his channel. Thanks for coming on the show, Drew. It's been great talking music with you. And
thanks, Steve. And I would love to return the favor and have you on my show.
Anytime.
That would be brilliant. Thanks, guys. And yeah, look, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to Steve's channel. You got to get on. Stuff is amazing. And like it's so passionate, and he's just sharing his love of the music, and you just got to get on board with Steve's channel. So definitely subscribe, comment, follow, all of that sort of stuff, and help him get his channel out there as well.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Drew. Appreciate it. And so exactly like what Drew said, if you like this type of content, make sure you hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and we'll catch you later. All right.
Excellent. See you guys. Thanks, Steve.